we'll get this show on the road, and we'll get this thing recorded up to the cloud. And so, hey, like I was talking on the Saturday training that I helped Mitch with about the process, I wanted to go into a little bit more depth. I wanted to go into a little bit more detail, because I think that this is one of the areas that all of us need to be constantly reminded and refreshed, because it really is something that for some reason is difficult for some people. For other people, it's very natural, and it is really a very natural process. But and that's and I'm going to take you through it. So for all of you that don't know me, your luck has just run out, right? So that's me, my dog Rocky. I've been around this industry for a much longer period of time than I ever thought that I ever would be. And as a result of that, it's provided myself, my family, and us, and our whole family, a tremendous lifestyle that a lot of people only dream about. But here we are. We're 1.5 years now with Valentis, and I can't say enough good things about where we're at and where we're headed. I was just talking to Rick Gerals today, and I said, Rick, did you understand that, all the money that you've made in the industry over the next 5 years, you're going to make more money with Valentis over the next 5 years than you've made in the past 30 years in this industry? And he started thinking about that, and he says, you know what? He said, you're right. And I said, you know what? The same thing holds true for me. The same thing holds true for John, right? The same thing holds true for a lot of people that have, jumped on board and done what has needed to be done. And what needs to be done is very, very simple. I talk about it all the time: submit to the process or fail. And that's how I was. I remember back 1987, I would not submit to the process. I mean, I had it beat into me for over a year. And I just, even though I was paying attention, I just wasn't paying attention enough to change the way I was doing things. And as a result, I did things my way, and which almost forced me out of the business, because my wife was just giving me a heck of a time about being in this industry and not making the kind of money that I should be making. First thing we all have to do is, if you've got somebody that hasn't purchased a Business Builder Pack, they're not serious. Right? They don't have enough samples. There's just no way to build it without buying a Business Builder Pack. I mean, there might be. I just can't for the life of me figure out why, if somebody has the wherewithal, and I know that, it's a challenge sometimes. I know that money is short, especially now that we're, going into Christmas. But, where there's a will, there's a way, right? There's always a way. There's always somebody that you can talk to. There's always somebody that you can lean on. There's always somebody that you can, if you needed $600, that you can go and get $600 from. So the next thing that you've got to do is, just like you were starting a traditional business, think of this as a traditional business. What if you were opening up a pizza parlor or a restaurant, or, a car wash, or whatever, the case may be? You'd be telling everybody hey, come and get your next pizza from me. Hey, come and get your car wash down here at my place. and you would be on the phone talking, canvassing, and doing everything that you could. You would think that you were running for office. You were talking to so many people and shaking so many people's hands, and that's how you've got to be with this business. Yes, you haven't invested 30, 40, 50, $1,000, $100,000, 200 grand in this business. You've only invested a little bit of money, and that in of itself is a challenge for a lot of people because they just don't, relate to, if it was that good, why didn't it cost me a lot more money? And I get that, right? Why didn't it cost me? Why are these guys? Because that's the way this industry has been set up. It's the unfranchised, right? It is a business just like a franchise without the franchise fee. Has all the same components except for the money and the percentage of the gross that most people pay when they own a franchise. So we're not going to knock you in the head to give us 3% of your gross. So you've got to get good at sending sample packs out. And when I say, you got to get good at it, I mean, you got to get good at it, right? I mean, this is a touch and feel business. And, we are very fortunate to have a product like Slim Roast Optimum. We're very fortunate now to have another product like Instant Youth. Things that get instant gratification, things that will show a difference, a product that you can take and that you've taken something, right? So that's the kind of high impact product that really drives momentum. And what I want for you in your business is to drive momentum, for you to get some success in your business so that you'll start to build your belief system. But until you have your belief, borrow mine, right? Take the belief that I have, and I'm going to allow you to use that belief as if it's yours, and just use my belief, because it's going to happen if we do things right. I can't say enough about following up and following up and following up. I mean, it's I take it as second nature. And, a lot of people say, well, what do you do exactly? Well, I do so many different things in that follow-up process. There isn't really a defined system. It's, I'm constantly following up with people. I'm reminding them about things. I'm telling them about things. I'm, anything that is relevant to the success that we're having, I'm dripping on them, right? A little bit of information, a little bit about this, a little bit about that. And so it's just, and I don't really care if they read it or not, and quite frankly, yes, I'd love to have everybody join me, but I know that that's not ever going to be the case. And some of the people that I want to join me the worst are going to wait, right? They're going to wait, and they're going to wait, and they're going to wait. And, some of them will, and some of them won't. It's just how it is. I think that for the people like myself who have been in the industry 20 years, 25, 30 years, more, 35 years, 40 years, I know there's some of the people on the team have been in the industry for 50 years. Right? I mean, a long time, but they've got the fire, right? They've got the fire. They see where we're going, and they're excited about this journey. I tell people all the time, hey, this is going to be a great journey. Come on with me, and let's go do it together. So following up with the three-way. Three-way is the, I guess if there was one component that made the difference in my business once I started utilizing it, was a three-way call. I told people the other day that, back then there was one telephone company, Bell, and Bell discovered that they could charge for that service, and it was horrendous to use. And, you know, the other person had to have three-way. And anyway, it was just a mess. It's so easy now, right? It's so easy now. So just, you know, adopt that into your daily method of operation. Just learn. For the first one, you're going to stumble through, and that's okay. The second one, you're going to fumble and stumble through. That's okay. You know, but by the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the 10th one, you know, I say go practice on some of your relatives to begin with, stumble through with them, and just say, hey, I'm just practicing, you know, doing three-ways. And, you know, and just do that so that you get more comfortable doing it. But, you know, this is such a simple business. I just want you to keep it simple, keep it fun, and keep it moving along. And most importantly, I want you to succeed in this business. So the conversation, you know, it all starts with the conversation. This is the easiest thing that anyone will ever do. Some people, however, you know, have a fear for whatever reason of picking up this phone and dialing somebody. I mean, people that they talk to all the time. Those are the people that I want you to share this message with. And it's about a qualifying questions, you know, or it's a series of qualifying questions. You know, hey, Bob, it's Chuck. I just started my own business part-time with a company called Valentis. Ever hear of them? Not me neither. Well, you know, they're a 5-year-old company that's grown over 2,000% since May of 2018, and people are making tons of money. Right? That usually gets somebody's ears to stand up like my Doberman. When, you know, I say, hey, let's go play ball, his ears, you know, automatically jump up. You know, people are making a lot of money. I'm looking for a couple of partners that are interested in making money, and I thought you might be interested. Have you ever thought about owning your own business? Now, there's a million different ways of starting this conversation. You just got to take something that works for you, you know, write it down in a script, and, you know, the conversation that I want you to have with the people that you know is not about a million other things. It's about being focused on one thing. You're laser focused on, hey, I was running out the door, Bob, I just had to call you because I wanted to tell you that I just started my own business with a company called Valentis. You ever hear of them? No, Chuck, no. Well, me either. Somebody told me about them. I'll tell you what, they're a 5-year-old company that's grown over 2,000% since May of 2018. Wow, that's a 2,000%, yeah. And people are making money hand over fist, right? You know, I'm looking for a couple of people. And I thought about you. I thought you might be interested in making money. I know you hate that life-sucking job that you've got. You're always complaining about it. And why don't we do something, you know? And I thought you might be interested. Have you ever thought about owning your own business, you know, maybe doing something part-time? You know, just have that easy flowing conversation, but, you know, you got to stay focused in on what it is you're calling about, right? There's certain points that you got to make. You keep that conversation on point, and you've got to create a sense of urgency. Here's another little one, right? Hey, I started my own business part-time with a company called Valentis. Ever hear of them? No, me neither. It's a 5-year-old company, blah, blah, blah. They introduced a weight loss coffee, and people are getting crazy results. I'm looking for a couple of partners, and I thought you might be interested. Are you a coffee drinker? Do you know anybody that needs to lose weight? Pretty simple, right? Pretty simple. Lead with the money, lead with the products, you know, and you just have that initial conversation. That'll open up the door to some other questions that, you know, the person that you're on the phone with is going to start reacting to. Hey, Bob, it's Chuck, right? How's that life-sucking job? I have a plan to get us to $25,000 a month residual income in 2 years or less. Are you interested? Yes, I'm interested. What do I have to do? Hey, I'll tell you what, I'm going to send you a video, watch it, then call me as soon as you've watched it, okay? Again, just something, again, so short, sweet, to the point, and I found a company we can make a fortune with if we hurry, right? Watch this video. Call me after you've watched it. And I send off that video to them and let them watch it. You know, hey, since you're a coffee drinker and you're interested in losing weight, I want to get a sample of this magic coffee to you. I'll send you 10 samples under one condition. You drink all of them yourself, no sharing. You can't give them to anybody else. Bob says, yeah, okay, I agree. You know, send me those samples and, you know, let's see how it goes, how it tastes. Sure, okay. Let me make sure I've got your email address, your address. Hey, Bob, one more thing. Valentis pays me for spreading the word, right? What I mean is that if you buy products, right, I earn money that is paid from Valentis, right? We don't put our products into stores. We use word of mouth advertising to get every word out there. So we don't advertise, we don't put our products in the stores. It's all done through referrals and word of mouth advertising. So don't go buying any of this stuff online. You never know what you might get. Fair enough? Great. Okay. Hey, one last question. If our magic coffee works as well for you as it did for me, you're probably going to want to share it with a few people, right? Yep. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you into our free referral system. I always, and I just want to reemphasize, always pre-register, pre-enroll everybody that I send a sample to. I put them in, I put them in, I put them in. When they get an email, because they're going to, you know, I want them to start getting in the communication loop, if you will, right? I want to get them in the communication loop because I want them to start hearing Valentis. I want them to start seeing emails. And all of a sudden, another person's going to go in underneath them. They're going to get an email and say, hey, your team is growing. And that usually generates a phone call. It goes, hey, what's this? My team is growing. Oh, yeah, hey, let me tell you about that. You know, you can get paid on all of those people. What I did is I put you into our referral system. And, you know, when you pay your $20 to become a rep and you buy some inventory, then you'll have a back office, websites, and all of those things. Let me take you over there and show you exactly. And I take them. Now, if you don't know how that system operates, I would suggest and highly recommend that you enroll yourself. You pre-enroll yourself using a different email address and watch how the system works, right? I ask people to do it all the time, and you know, they put themselves in, and all of a sudden they start getting emails, and they start getting in the loop of, you know, all the company emails that are coming out, and so on. And then of course Thursday is Leapfrog Thursday, where everybody is encouraged to place an order, lock in their position so none of the people below them jump up above them, you know, and God forbid, you know, something like that were to happen. And it happens all the time, but you never know what you might have missed out on. You know, let me give you a case in point. Case in point, my good friend Mitch up in beautiful Northwest Arkansas ran into a young lady who's from Kenya, right? Marianne. And Marianne loved the coffee. She got pre-enrolled, and so did a whole bunch of other people. And you know, Mitch is out there doing his thing, right? You know, always constantly talking three ways and doing his thing. And you know, the people of Marianne. Now, Marianne has been responsible almost single-handedly for opening Africa. You know, at least opening Kenya and Nigeria. And she's done a marvelous, fantastic job. And we've finally conquered. I knew if we continued, you know, trying to slay this dragon, we would eventually conquer those challenges that we were having in that marketplace, because it's a marketplace much like the Philippines where people don't have credit cards, right? So we had a challenge with collecting money, but that's another story. So if the people that were pre-enrolled above Marianne, if they didn't lock in their position, guess what? And she did. she leapfrogged over them, and they just missed on lots and lots and lots of volume, right, that they could have got paid on. I mean, I'm talking millions and millions and millions of dollars in volume that is in the process of being created. And you know, I know those people never know, right? They never know, and you never know who might be there. But you can lock in your position for as little as $59 plus $20, right? So for under $100, you can lock in your position and then do your due diligence, right? Then do your due diligence. You get a canister of coffee, and that's what I recommend to people all the time. Hey, if you still want to think about it, don't miss this opportunity. Don't let those people pass by you. Take that person into their pre-enrollment back office, and it's just simple as you going into the login, go to the pre-enrollee login area and walk them through. If you don't have Zoom, or if you don't have a way to share your screen with people, then have them log in, you log in, use their email address so you're both on the same page, and you can both log into that pre-enrollee login together, right? Them on their computer, you on your computer, and just go through and look at things, look at the genealogy, just look at everything. And I just tell them, hey, don't miss this opportunity. What's the worst thing that could happen? The worst thing that could happen is that you spent $20. You got a canister of coffee that you're going to love, and you're probably going to lose some weight. You're probably going to want to buy more. So you would have never known about this had I not, twisted it a little bit and convinced you to go ahead and take the next step, lock that in. So do that. Do yourself a favor. Hey, Bob, what did you think about the video? You're a coffee drinker, right? Yep. Well, I told you, you could lose weight no matter how hard you tried, right? So I invested $600 in some weight loss coffee inventory with Valentis because I think it's an awesome opportunity. And I had never heard of them until I watched that video. Have you ever heard of them? No. Oh, everybody's going to say no. Well, they're a 5-year-old company, over $125 million in sales, and they introduced a weight loss coffee June of 2018. That's just absolutely awesome. You should take a look at go to Facebook and search out best weight loss coffee today. Go up to the search bar, in best weight loss coffee today, and go to our site, or go to fbtestimonials.info. That's a redirect that'll take you right to that site, and just look around, right? It's not me telling them how well it works now. It's third party, right? It's that infomercial part of the business. So, if Bob is a player, right, not a bean counter, nothing wrong with bean counters, but they seem to overanalyze things a lot. Engineers, bean counters, the conversation might go like this, because you're not looking for customers. You're looking for business builders. You're looking for people that want to change their life. They just don't know how to do it. If they knew how to do it, they'd have already done it, right? So, I'm looking for a few people that want to do this with me. It'll be a blast. It'll cost you $600 for some initial inventory and $160 a month starting next month to stay active. You interested in doing this with me? Great. Let me send you some samples until your product comes so we can experience this stuff together. It'll be awesome. Again, just short, little blurbs, little pieces of conversation that you want to put together based on who it is you're talking to. And the more you do of these, the easier it'll get. And, again, it's just repetition and repetition. And the more Zooms that you participate in, the more trainings that you participate in, the more business opportunity Zooms you participate in, the more little nuggets you'll pick up, and you'll have that stuff. It'll just be programmed into your mind, and you'll just, it'll just come right out, right when it's the right time. You've got to focus on income producing activities. I know that this is a grandiose opportunity, right? And there's all kinds of things that we can think about doing, but let's bring it back down. Let's bring it back down to the simple things, you know, the mundane things that have to be done, which is, you know, let's see, I need some envelopes, I need some samples, I need to have that ingredients list that Chuck sent out. I need to, you know, create a little introductory letter that I put into that sample package, and you know, do that, right? Get those little things done and out of the way, and have them ready to go, and you know, then you're not bogged down with thinking about those things anymore. So you need to take, you know, since you're the CEO, owner, president of your own business, you're the only one that can control any of this stuff. I mean, there's nobody, you don't have a boss, you don't have anybody looking over your shoulder, you don't have anybody to report to, and that's sometimes difficult for people that have never owned a business. I've never been employed by anyone, so it's always been up to me to go and find a way to create some value and to make some money. And this, by far, has been the easiest thing that I've ever done. The advertising business was tough, very, very, very tough, and a lot of details. So, you know, how many people did you talk to today or last month, or that you're going to talk to this month about the Valentis opportunity? Go ahead and put a number down. You know, let's start putting some things down on paper. Hey, I'm going to talk to, you know, 5 people a day, you know, 2 people a day, whatever the number is. Don't give up until you talk to those 2 people or those 5 people or those 10 people, whatever the case may be, whatever amount of time you have available to you. And sometimes, like I say all the time, sometimes if this is important enough, and again, the definition of important enough is, you know, things that you spend your time and you spend your money on, right? So, you know, if this is important enough and you believe that this is a way out of whatever situation you're in, then I would dedicate as much time, as much effort, as many resources as I could to pursuing this opportunity. It's just like somebody learning to play basketball. I grew up in the city of Chicago, on the south side of Chicago, and you notice I'm a white guy. I don't play basketball very well. I'm not very tall, but a lot of people in my neighborhood did play basketball. And they played basketball all the time, right? Because what did they want to do? They wanted to get good. Not only good, they wanted to get great, so that hopefully they would be spotted and they would work. This is much easier. This is much easier than doing, you know, becoming a sports celebrity, right? How many people did you talk to about the Valentis opportunity? How many people have you talked to about the products, or are you going to talk to about the products? Again, you've got to set some goals. You've got to set some parameters. You've got to be accountable to yourself, because there's nobody else. And you know, maybe you need a workout partner. Maybe you need somebody that, you know, will hold you accountable. And if so, find somebody and work with them, and vice versa, right? How many sample packs did you give away today or sell? You know, and again, I'm going to just say this, that, you know, I don't care how you do it. You know, all I want you to do is do it. I don't care if you sell 6-day experience samples for $20. I don't care if you give them away. I don't care if you give away canisters of coffee. I don't care what you do. You've got to sort that out. But, you know, whatever you do, you got to just do it, right? So just do it. I choose the path of least resistance, and that is, I want to qualify somebody to the point that I know that if I'm going to invest my money, and I'll have that conversation with them, I'm going to invest my money in you. I want you to do what I'm asking you to do. We got a deal? Right? We got a deal? Okay, I'm going to pay for the postage. I'm going to pay for the product. The product is free to you, but it's not free to me, right? And I don't have any bones about having that conversation with somebody because it's reality, and they're going to appreciate that because you're going to be teaching them, right? This is all a learning process. What you do to your prospect, they will do to their prospects, and so on and so on and so on. So if we teach things the right way, then our people will duplicate us and do things the right way. So I don't care how you do it, you just got to get rid of that product. You got to get it in somebody else's kitchen because you can only drink a couple of cups of coffee every day. And if you're going to do all 350 of those, you'd have coffee for a long time, right? How many follow-up calls and how many follow-up emails? How many follow-up text messages? Follow up any way you feel comfortable, but continue to follow up. You know, just stay in touch with somebody. You know, people say, hey, I just don't think that this is for me. Hey, okay, well, that's great. You know, I didn't think it was for me either, but do you mind if I just kind of stay in touch with you? Oh, great. You know, we're friends. Yeah, sure. You know, and yeah, I don't beat them to death. You know, something, you know, 10 times a day. I'll drip on them. I'll send them a text message. Hey, we're going to have a special call. We got this, you know, something special is going to happen. I just wanted you to know about it. And so, you know, you might jump on. They might jump on, and you might be surprised that they go, hey, I just heard something. You sent me something, and that triggered, you know, something in my brain. And, you know, this sounds pretty amazing. This sounds pretty amazing. You know, if you did a little accountable chart, right? You know, something, you know, and how many 3-ways did you do? Start today, right? December the 1st, and track it for the month. And then look at all of those columns, right? Look at all of those columns, and you get down there and you go, 3 ways for the month. Let's see, I did none. I guess I'll have to improve on none. Yeah. You know, if you're going to stay in this business, you're going to have to improve. You're going to have to improve, you know, all the way along. So I don't want to beat it to death, but this is how you get to diamond. This is how you get to double diamond. This is how you get to triple diamond. This is how you move up in rank. And the reason you want to move up in rank is more, you know. And now if money's not that important to you, then don't worry about it, right? You know, just stay, just keep doing what you're doing. This is a simple business. Don't get that confused with easy, because it's not an easy business. If it were easy, everybody would be doing it and everybody would be successful. So spend the time to get trained. Come to these Sunday evening classes. Come to the Saturday morning trainings. Call if you've got a question. Text me if you've got a question. There's always ways of communicating. I do this full time, right? Mitch does this full time. You know, almost, I mean, all the diamonds do this full time pretty much. So, you know, it's just gotta get in the loop. Stay consistent with your effort. Gotta stay consistent all the time. I mean, I send out samples. I send out samples all the time. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but these are postal receipts, right, that my post office gives me. And, you know, sometimes I've got 3 on there, sometimes I've got 2, sometimes I've got 1, sometimes I've got 17. But, you know, it's receipts and receipts and receipts. And I send out lots of samples. I always send them out first class because I don't want to cheapen it. I always send them out with a tracking number so that I can track when that product's going to get there, because I want to stay at that. that sample is money to me, right? If I'm going to send them 10 samples, I got 20, 25 bucks, riding on that. So I want to make sure I get a return on my investment. And so stay consistent and stay engaged. Find somebody that will help mentor you, right? Whoever that might be. If you've, and everybody needs a mentor, right? So find somebody that you can work with. Ask questions if you're not sure of anything. And, I was the world's worst. I mean, I just, I'm a slow learner, right? And so I was always asking questions. Learn some patience. Patience is a virtue, right? So learn patience. I hear a lot of people say, I just don't have the patience for this. Well, then you're not going to be successful. This is all you need to take some tranquilizers. You need to take something then that will help you overcome that anxiety. The ability to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. Maybe you need to put that on the wall and read it every day, right? The ability to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. I see people getting angry and upset about the smallest little thing, and I just don't, right? I just don't. I mean, I sometimes I sometimes get I kind of get I don't want to say angry because that's not really frustrated, right? I kind of get frustrated with certain things, but I just say, hey, it's all going to go away. It'll all get better. I know it's going to get better. So I just move forward and not worry about it anymore. You've heard this, and you've heard it, and you've heard it, right? This is a business. You're going to have your ups and your downs. Not everything is going to go, steadily like this. You're going to have, and that is the roller coaster effect of this business. Even my business, I get disappointed, right? I get disappointed when somebody who I think is going to come into the business doesn't. I just go, well, you know what? The timing wasn't right for that person. I'll just stay in touch with them, and maybe the timing will be right later. I've had some people get into the business, decide that, I don't think it's for me, and get out. Hey, that's okay. I'd rather do that and just stay in touch with them because, maybe they've gone off and are playing with some other bright, shiny object. I know that those bright, shiny objects have a way of getting tarnished and diminished in value, and more than likely will go out of business, and hopefully that person won't get too hurt when that happens. But I just know everything is secular, right? Everything is up and down. I used to get so frustrated, inviting people to an event, inviting people to a meeting, and then discovering that I'm the guy standing out in the hallway, waiting for somebody to show up. And then somebody taught me, they said, hey, go pick them up, take them there. So that's what I started doing. I said, oh, this will solve the problem of somebody not going. I'm going to just say, hey, leave your car at home. I'll come by and get you. We'll ride together. What are they going to say? Hey, we'll grab a bite, or we'll grab a bite afterwards. Okay, great. Okay, let's go. At least, they are captive, right? I've got them. So, same thing with, coming to a call or coming to a Zoom. Hey, let me call you a minute or two ahead of time, and let's do this together, right? So, predictable results. This is the best part of this whole training and this whole industry, is that you can calculate that, there are predictable results. If you do certain things will happen, So I talk about this, and I've started using this now on my presentations, the business presentations on Monday and Wednesday, because I like to see And I like to show people what would happen to them over the course of a 12-month period if they only found one person a month, every month for 12 months, and everybody says that they can do that. Just find one person a month, help them do exactly the same thing, right? One person a month, and watch your team grow. And here's what happens over 6 months. You've built a team of 1, 3, 7, 15, 31, 63 people. After 6 months, you've made that month a whole $700. If you added this up, you hadn't made quite $1,500 yet. You know, most people would have probably quit back here about 90 days in. People have got about a 90-day tolerance, you know, unless you tell them, unless you show them, you know, and then they look at this and they go, because all of us are visual, right? We're all visual. So, oh, okay, one a month, I can see how that can happen. Okay, yeah, I can do this for a year. I'll commit to one person a month and do that for 12 months. If they will do that, you see what happens in the next 12 months, right? The group has grown from 63 people to 4,095. Now, that's in a perfect world, right? That's in a perfect world. That's when nobody quits, nobody does anything, everybody only gets one. You can't have any more, can't have any more than one. You just got to have one, and everybody's got to duplicate. But if everybody did that, you know, this business is again so simple. If all we ever did in this business is put one on the left and one on the right and taught those two people to do exactly the same thing, just get one on the left and one on the right, and everybody stay active, one on the left, one on the right, you would make more money than you could spend. Right? You would make more money than you could spend. And that's what I try to show people with this is that, you know, over time, you know, again, over time, this will happen. Look, you've gone from $700, you know, that monthly earning to doubling up every month, right? Doubling, right? 20,000 to 50,000. And I just did the chart for the next 12 months, and it's way too much to show. It's huge numbers, right? Just one person a month that helps one person get one person, and just absolutely phenomenal. You know, I've been talking about this since we got these single serving sticks, and that is, you know, send out 35 sample packs in a month, and it's a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever the case may be. But, you know, people need to get results on the coffee. But if you show somebody this and you get them to buy into the fact that, hey, I can do that, you know, now not everybody can do this, right? They just can't call enough people to qualify enough people to send out 35 packages in a month. I get that. But there are some people who do have the time. And if they buy into this, you know, analogy, they go, geez, I can send out 35, and all I've got to do is find 20% of them. I think I can do better than 20%. And there's some people that'll do much better than 20%. And if they get their 7 people to buy into just doing this, again, the numbers are astronomical. Right? They just kind of go off the chart. And it doesn't take very long because you got a lot of workers out there, right? You got a lot of workers out there. After 4 months, you got 12,000 samples that are going out because you sent 35 out and got 7 people that said yes, and then they duplicated that. So don't hesitate to show people something like this, because if they buy into this analogy, then all kinds of things will and could happen. You know, I always talk about that. You know, it's all about you, right? It's all about your decision. You first got to want things to change in your life before things will change. So you want things to change, you got to change yourself, right? You got to make a decision that you've got to change. So, you know, once you do that, then the rest of it is simple, is easy, right? It's really simple stuff to learn all the rest of this. You just got to stay focused, right? Stay focused and commit to, like I told Dave when I went up to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I spent those couple of days with him. I said, Dave, I'm going to give you 3 years of my life or $100,000 a month, whichever comes first. Well, I've now revised that, right? I mean, and I know it sounded like a car commercial. You're going to get 100,000 mile, right? And 3 years warranty or 100,000 miles, whichever comes first. And now I've kind of revised that because now I have, I don't want to say more confidence. I guess it took John going to $500,000 a month for me to believe that I could. Right now, I believe I can. Now it's just a matter of numbers, right? And so it's just a matter of time now. So, I've upped that to 5 years and 500,000. So this is a good car. It's a good vehicle. 5 years, 500,000. Full warranty, right? Plug into the Zoom system. Plug in, plug in, plug in. If you don't have Zoom, go get it. It's free, right? Go learn how to use it, and start doing Zooms with all of your prospects. Get them on. Let them look at some things. So go do it. Business overview Monday, Wednesday. I do Tuesday, Thursday. Mitch does trainings Saturday. I would take that and post it up somewhere so you've got it, so you've got the right codes, so you don't sit on my code on Tuesday and I get an email. I know that you're there. I just can't tell who you are, right? It says, your guests are waiting for you. Well, it's Tuesday night and they're on the wrong code and there's no way for me to tell them to get on the right code. So it's really up to you. Pay attention to Tuesday and Thursday, 570, Monday and Wednesday, 908. Okay, so get that written down, and I've got to change this. I just noticed that. So it's not 235. I changed all of them to the 908, 544, 558. So I'll get that changed. Let me talk to you. In October, I did some promotions. I love promotions. I mean, some people don't like them. I love them because it gives an added incentive for people to make a decision and do something. All I want them to do is do something. If they do something, they might do something else, right? So if you have done 100 BV in October, or November, or both months, probably you did both months. If you purchased 100 BV in October or November, you will, or you may have already received a code to activate your $500 travel credit. If you haven't, then get in touch with me, right? Reach out to me, send me an email, and I'll send you a code. It's almost impossible now for me to keep track of who has and who hasn't. And I don't have everybody's email address. I only have email addresses of people that I personally enrolled. They have email addresses of all the people they've enrolled in their contact manager, and so on and so forth. So, take it upon yourself. If you've got people on your team that you see, and all you've got to do is run a report, right? If you don't know how to run that enroller tree report, and get it back in touch with me. And, I'll teach you how to do that, but run a enroller report and find out the people on your team that have done 100 BV. This is $500. This will save you real cash. I'm not kidding. Go to TravelSavingsDollars.com and take the free test drive. You'll see in a heartbeat that you'll save money with this little free gift. It's not a gimmick. It is put out there by the largest private membership travel portal in the world. They've got over 55 million members, and they structure some just incredible deals. So make sure you do that. I want to get everybody who is done their 100 BV. Now, if they've done, I even went one step further. If somebody did 50 BV for 3 months, yeah, I want them to get it too, right? I want to get them something little extra, right? What I've decided to do, this was only going to be October, November. I decided to carry it through December. So as we go through at the end of December, we'll cut this off. There won't be any more travel savings dollars. Vacation in Paradise, you know, again, a great resort. They've got resorts all over the Caribbean. You produce 1,200 BV in personal purchasers, and I don't care how, you know, maybe it's you're on 100 BV, you did some other stuff, you did you bought a distance builder, whatever combination of 1,200 BV, you're going to qualify for a 6-day, 5-night trip, right? It could be 100 BV for 12 months, 150 for, it's not 6 months, it's actually 8 months, but I'll fix that so that it's 1,200. And 400 for 4 months. Actually, it's 3 months. I wonder how they got that confused. Any combination of 1,200 BV. So, you know, and even if you've been here like I have for a year and a half, and you've been on a steady 100 BV, you've already qualified. Let me know. We're gonna get but you know, I'm putting together a list. The next step is, when do you want to go? Now, you've got to pick a resort, you've got to pick a date, and then you come to me. I'll put you in touch with the people that'll actually book everything, and I'll pay the $90 booking fee. Everything else is, you know, all your accommodations are paid, your incidentals are, and your air is on you. Right? So if you don't want to go, you can give it to somebody. I don't care who goes, right? You've got a great trip. There's a nice Christmas present. And you can win more than once. Let me tell you the enrollment bonus that we came up with. You know, enrolling new IRs that purchase a Ruby or an Emerald pack. Sounds good, right? You enroll somebody that buys a Ruby pack, you know, a 575 pack. You're going to get 10 codes you can use, give away to your friends, your relatives, whoever you want to give them away to. That's perfectly fine. They're yours. You just can't sell them, right? You enroll Emerald, you're going to get 20. So you're going to have, you know, $500 or $1,000. If you enroll 3 in November, you're going to get not only the travel rewards, but you're going to get a 6-day, 5-night vacation. So I threw that in as if you enrolled 3. If you enrolled 4, you're going to have all the above plus an event ticket to the regional in Las Vegas in May. You enroll 5, you see what it is, all the above plus another event ticket plus 4 nights at the Green Valley Resort on me, right? You enroll 6, you're going to get all the above plus something special, and I'm still working on that. I didn't think anybody was going to get that, but you know, fortunately, when you throw it out there, you've got to expect that somebody is going to, you know, go ahead and go for it. So that somebody is with us tonight, and what I want to do is ask him to unmute. In fact, unmute himself. Rick Anderson is in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and Rick was right down to the wire with 5. And he said, I got one more day. I said, I know you got one more day. And he said, I'm going to get 6. And I said, well, go for it, right? So, Rick, tell everybody how you did it.
Well, one at a time.
One at a time.
Okay, here's the idea. You start early in the month. I got my first one the 2nd of November. Once you get the first one, the rest of them become easier. Chuck, I got to tell you that most of the reason that I was able to do this had to do with the great support that you have given me, man. I mean, I'm not here to, fluffle your bustle, but honest to goodness, this training is critical. If you pick up the telephone and call somebody, you got to have an objective. You got to have a reason you're calling. You got to have a goal. And if that goal is to get them to believe that they ought to lose a little weight and that they ought to give this coffee a try because it tastes so good, then they say yes. You get their address. You put them in your waiting room as a pre-enrollee, and you get them their product. Then after the 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 days that it takes to get the product there, you pick up the phone and you say, okay, you were supposed to call me. Did you get that coffee? And they say, yeah, we got the coffee. Are you taking it? Yeah, we are. And that's how it starts. Some people, I was like that. I got a call from my sponsor, Paul Seaman. And Paul told me what it had done for him. And the last time I saw my doctor, he said, Anderson, you're too damn fat. Well, I hadn't done much about that. But at that point, I was a little over 225. And Chuck was kind enough to send the samples because I don't believe Paul had his yet. And so I got the samples from Chuck and I took a couple of them and I said, man, this stuff is great. And I bought a business builder pack. Well, by the time my samples got here, I had dropped a certain amount of weight. Right now, I'm from 225 down to a little bit under 190. And Chuck, as you said, your clothes begin to fit a lot better when the buttons don't threaten to come off the shirts. So I could move out of my sweats back into the good-looking shirts that I had when I was a little younger and a little thinner, and you get a feel that it actually works. And once you know that it works, then you can talk to other people who need it to work for them. And this really isn't a sales business. This is an education business. And thank God, Chuck, you do the education. Because if you didn't, there would be so many people floundering around trying to figure out what to say, who to say it to, and what to do then. And if you're the Lone Ranger in this business, you're going to end up out there underneath the sagebrush somewhere all by yourself. And that doesn't make any sense because, I have one lad I'm talking to now who is trying to attack obesity by selling juice products. Well, people just don't drink juice products nearly as often as they drink coffee. So we're going to try to get him cranked around to our way of thinking. And, with the other products coming down the road, I just can't imagine that this isn't going to be a huge home run for everybody. And I want to tell you that I can't wait to find out what kind of Maserati I'm going to get as number 6. So thank you.
Yeah, well, we will definitely do something special. It'll probably be in Las Vegas when we're there together. So
good. Well, let me tell you one other thing too, because you asked me to touch on Marshall Silver's workshop. Sudette and I knew that we got a ticket to that because of the fact we bought a business builder pack. We flew to San Francisco. And I will tell you right now that if I had not gotten that $1,900 ticket, I would have written a $1,900 check for those 3 days. For people that are not certain what is holding them back from really being able to kick ass in this business, they should go and let Marshall Silver explain it. He is absolutely phenomenal. I know there's another one of these coming up. I think it's around the 11th of January in Carlsbad, California. I have 3 people in my group in the San Diego area, and they better, by golly, be at that workshop because it is worth 3 times the price of admission. And hey, thank you again for making that possible.
Hey, no problem. Hey, thanks for all the hard work, and I second all the things about Marshall's turning point. It really is reprogramming the subconscious mind, and taking out and sucking out those things that we have been it's that computer in there that we've been taking in all this stuff and we don't know it. And, it's got to be taken out. And talking about Marshall, he says, I can make anyone a millionaire if they simply just give themselves up to the process. And folks.
Hey, Chuck, let me add one other thing.
Sure.
Jeanette just said she left her trash in San Francisco.
Left her trash, so did a lot of other people.
That's right. She left her trash in San Francisco.
Yeah, they got millions of pounds of it. So, hey guys, it's always a fun time to be here on a Sunday night with everybody, and I hope you got as much out of this as I got out of it, because it's something that we're going to put in the repertoire, to consistently teach. There's just certain things that have to be taught and taught and taught and retaught. So Rick, you did an amazing job. Now, for all the rest of you, if you've succeeded in sponsoring one person that joined with the Business Builder Pack, let me know, right? You got to let me know. 2, got to let me know. However many, you got to let me know so I can take care of, fulfilling those promises that I made to everybody. I don't want anybody saying, hey, I didn't get, well, if I don't know, then I don't know, because I don't know. I can't see that on any of my reports. I've asked Dave Jordan if he would give me access to just one more report, and I'd like to see the contact information for every Ruby that joins the team, because I know that if I were able to have a conversation with every Ruby that joins the team on a monthly basis, however many Rubies might be, or Emeralds, I know that the survival rate would be much greater, right? Much greater than if they were to just do it on their own. So if you've got a Ruby that's joined your team, do like Rick did, plug them into me, get me their email, let me plug them into the system, let me help you and them build your business. So Rick, hey, I'm looking forward to having dinner with you guys, and we'll do some great things, and I'll make sure that my computer programmer gets all those winnings out to you. We'll get rooms booked and blah, 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 all of that stuff. So
Chuck, thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. The great work.
Work, man. They work. Thank you.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I had to push for number 6.
Let's do it. Let's do it again this month.
All right. Why not?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Hey guys, thanks for hanging in there with me. I know we're a little bit over time, went just a little over an hour, but hey, thanks for joining me here this evening, and forward, I'll be around all week, not traveling anywhere. So if anybody needs me, just give me a shout. More than happy to help with anything, anybody. So with that, let's end this meeting. I'm going to go put my horses away, and we'll go from there. So good night, everybody. Have a great night.
Good night, Chuck.
Good night.